I'm sorry. But I don't want to be an emperor. That's not my business. I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world, there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful, but we have lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls, has barricaded the world with hate, has goose-stepped us into misery and bloodshed. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent and all will be lost. The aeroplane and the radio have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Even now, my voice is reaching millions throughout the world, millions of despairing men, women, and little children, victims of a system that makes men torture and imprison innocent people. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish.
Greetings. This is the Long in the Boot podcast, the podcast coming to you from the heel of the boot of Southwest Louisiana. I'm your host, G.Long, and sitting across the way, as always, is Deb.
Hello, all.
Hey, Deb.
Still alive.
Barely.
I know.
Man, we've been sick.
It's been a rough go again.
It has. I got sick first, and Deb then picked up the baton and ran with it.
I didn't run. I barely moved, but here I am coming out on the other side.
Seemed like just a small little cold, and then boom.
No.
Within literally, I coughed twice at school and went, that last cough sure didn't feel right.
Yeah.
And by the time I got home, I was full on sick.
Yeah.
And had to sleep. There was no.
And we left school in a frenzy.
Yeah.
It was Thursday was weird. I felt so bad for leaving my coworkers, my students.
But
I was worried for you.
The middle of the day.
And
I was like, I have to go home. I have to go home now.
Yeah, I can't sit here. And then I was scared because I saw you and I thought, oh dear God, what? Oh, this is horrible. And then Monday when it hit me, I understood why you had to leave now.
Yeah, it was.
It was rough.
It was really weird. And Friday we were already scheduled to be off because we were going to get.
We had
stuff
things
done.
to do, and I had to do all that on my own.
None of it done.
Saturday I did that on my own. I went outside and used heavy equipment not heavy equipment, but I used equipment and cut things down. And Sunday morning I said, oh, I'm going to go out and clean up what I did yesterday. And by noon I was.
Oh yeah, when we went home on that Thursday, I went to bed and.
Oh, you slept for 15
hours straight.
Yeah.
Which I don't ever do.
And my bed hadn't been made since Thursday morning.
No,
today was the first morning I made
a true
bed.
sick bed.
I will say, if you need any sense of control in your life, and I know I've said this before when we did the podcast about routines and habits, because humans need that. We need regularity. We need
we need all kinds of things.
It helps our sense of control. Well, making your bed, because getting into a bed that is unmade for me is just, last night I was done.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't even want to get in there.
Yep.
Anyhow.
Oh, well.
Well,
anyway, so but it's late. It's we're recording this right now. It's
right before we're going to let it out.
10, and I hope to get this thing out by noon.
Yeah.
It's Wednesday. Last night, of course, was the big speech. But first, a little business. If you'd like to email the Long in the Boot podcast, obviously, you can do that at longintheboot@gmail.com. Give us a call at 337-502-9011. And the podcast page is Long in the Boot it's just longintheboot.com. And pardon me while I cough. There we go.
Okay.
So Anyway, we decided to wait to do the podcast just in case something exciting happened last night.
It really didn't. It was what it was expected.
It was a snoozer.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. There was nothing.
What did you call it? A masturbatory?
It was a masturbatory, self-congratulatory speech.
In a masturbatorium.
Yeah, in a giant masturbatorium where only one side participated in the HJ.
Well, the side that didn't participate, that was the disposal of the Kleenex side.
Now, I will say a couple of things. One, I've seen people already complaining that, that there was a congressman, his name is Al Green, not to be confused with the singer.
Yeah, but I would like to think that Al Green would have stood up and shouted out.
Yeah, he might have done that. But I saw a bunch of people already today going, this is the rudest thing I've ever seen.
There's nobody's ever done this before.
No precedent for it. Oh, stop it, you
Go
bunch
back
of
and
babies.
look at Marjorie Taylor Greene and Bobart last.
First of all, Marjorie Taylor Greene's face being in the room is offensive. But anyway, she yelled at Biden numerous times. So did Bobart, who, by the way, likely had relations with Kid Rock, according to.
No, I don't care who they sleep with.
Kid Rock.
Well, there's a lot that disgusts me, but I don't care.
I don't care. I don't care that you don't care.
Okay.
Anyway. And then Obama, when he was president, there was the Republican who called him a liar really loudly.
Yeah.
And so this has precedence.
Tit for tat.
Now, I've never seen one escorted out by the sergeant at arms.
Well, I think that was the point.
I think he wanted to be escorted out.
I think he wanted to be escorted out so that, and he's so old, it doesn't matter.
He had a cane, though. I was kind of hoping he'd go across the aisle and beat the crap out of somebody with his cane.
Well, it wasn't the Serbian parliament.
There's precedence for beating another congressman with a cane.
And I've seen the Japanese people in their political realms come to blows. But in Serbia, 2 days ago, they threw grenades and smoke bombs and
overall,
and they were all in suits. It doesn't matter the suit you wear.
Right.
Okay.
Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene was wearing a stupid baseball cap at the speech last night.
It made me think of, though, she's one of those moms at a game. I don't know.
Yes.
Does she have kids? I have no idea.
Oh,
but she'd be one of those moms out there. She'd be in a referee's face in a second.
If she has kids, I feel bad for them.
I'm going to go do it. Does Marjorie?
By the way, speaking of her, the bloated-faced reporter who asked Zelensky if he owned a suit, that's her boyfriend. And if you'd like to know what a person who drinks way too much looks like, go look at him. His name is Brian Glenn. He used to work for Fox News until he got fired for sexually harassing a coworker.
More than once, huh?
Yeah, he's done it more than once.
You know what?
Perfect for Marjorie Taylor Greene.
When you search, does Marjorie Taylor Greene, the first search was smoke. Second, have tattoos. Third, have children.
Does she smoke?
I didn't click on that. I don't. She has 3 children.
Does she?
Yes, she does.
Do they speak to her?
I'm not going to go. I don't care that much. Okay.
They're probably embarrassed.
But really, the whole point of our podcast today, and I think really what I'd like to say is that we need to take a step back. I mean, we're not seeing the big picture. We're not seeing the forest for all the individual trees. It's this back and forth, tit for tat.
And I'll be the first to say at the speech last night, there were several points that Trump made that I tend to agree with. I may not agree with how he's doing it, but look, as far as letting men play in women's sports.
Yeah, you don't need to have
I don't know why the Democrats have decided to plant that flag on that hill, but that's the dumbest.
And we've said that more than once on this podcast.
That's right.
Those are the kinds of things that made them lose. I think they knew they were going to lose. Who puts Kamala up?
Right.
That's my point.
Or who puts Biden up?
That's my point about the bigger picture. It's like there are things going on here.
But speaking of Biden, the 4 years of Biden, the presidency, they were not the worst 4 years in our nation's history. That Trump says that kind of crap, and it's just irritating. It's because I've heard it so many times.
Yeah.
And if something bad, Biden's responsible. That's nonsense.
Well, that's easy. Every administration does that. This is not a new tactic as far as that goes.
But he pounds it relentlessly.
Well, that's because he's an elderly man with an elderly brain who gets stuck in a narrative, and that's all he hears.
And it's all he spiels or says. But I agree with that 100%. Boys, men should not be participating in women's sports.
No,
should not be allowed to get scholarships that belong to women. Women have worked way too hard for too long to get those things. And so, again, 100% agreement there. The border needed to be put back under control.
Yes,
letting in millions of people.
We do need new laws. We need new rules. There needs to be a better, more efficient
I don't think we should be letting criminals into this country, obviously. And certainly if a person's is here illegally, commits a crime.
They need to go back.
You don't put them back out on the street.
Yeah.
I mean, that was ridiculous. So, yeah, there's room for agreement. That's the thing that kind of pisses me off about all this.
And stop using the term woke as an insult to somebody. I'm not woke. I'm awake.
Well, my thing is if I say anything that's anti-Trump or anti-Musk, I get called a liberal or that I'm woke.
Or your panties are in a wad.
Panties. Again, they love to bring that up. And look, if you say to me on Facebook, well, I didn't mean to get your panties in a twist, I'm blocking you. You're done.
Well, I've known you for 40 years. If you wore panties prior to me meeting you when you were in high school or whatever, I don't know about it. But community, he's never worn panties.
Thank you. I did wear them on my head one time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
that was a joke.
That was probably.
And it was right after pulling them out of the dryer.
It was probably a tequila. No, you don't think it was a tequila thing?
No, not at all. No, because once tequila's involved, panties fall off.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody knows that.
Okay.
Liquid panty remover. Yay.
See, now you sound like an old man who's just got the same joke in his head.
I know.
All right.
Besides, I haven't had any tequila in ages.
Oh, God, no.
I know.
Right.
I miss it. I do.
Do you miss it?
I love tequila.
All right. Well, tequila. We've all gone Lord of the Flies here.
It's true.
Yeah. Which is better, to have laws and agree or to hunt and kill? Well, I think we're at the hunt and kill phase. I don't think we want laws. We don't want to agree. We just want to hunt and kill.
Hunt and kill.
Marjorie Taylor Greene says about our civil servants that are getting fired that federal employees do not deserve their jobs. They do not deserve their paychecks. And these are jobs that can be fired at will, she claimed during a House of Representatives Committee on Oversight and Government Reform. People were protesting Elon Musk and his Doge people. She says, you're protecting the bureaucracy. The bureaucracy is not a business. Those are not real jobs producing federal revenue. Representative, of course, Ilhan Omar made a quick point about those people are paying taxes. They are earning real income. And let's speak for that for a moment. The average federal salary is $73,900.
That's correct.
Most people within the government earn between $50,000 and $90,000, and I assume that's considering their benefits packages. Which is not their benefit packages for the low-level employees in the federal government are not as cream of the crop as. While we're on that topic,
I'm so fed up with this. If they made a check working for the government, they use that money.
It's not welfare.
No, and they use that money in the community to do all of the things we all do with our private sector dollars, which benefit everyone.
Businesses have already closed down in those communities.
That's right. And the fact is that that it's not a zero-sum game. This idea that somehow if this guy has $1, then that means I don't is just ridiculous. That dollar goes back into the community, creates more dollars, creates jobs. And I love this thing. Well, if everybody was a government worker, then there'd be no productivity whatsoever. Well, maybe so, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a small percentage of people and of the entire workforce. The vast majority are private sector jobs, but many of these government jobs are necessary. The parks are going to be disgusting by the time this is done.
Oh yeah.
And everybody's I've seen now, well, Bill Clinton cut 300,000 or 3 million or whatever. I don't even know how many jobs. I'm so tired of it all. But he didn't do it in a month. In Doge and Elon Musk have just whacked jobs. They're not doing it with any rhyme or reason. They don't know anything. And oh, by the way, speaking of which, last night Trump messed up. He said that Elon Musk was headed up by, or Doge was headed up by Elon Musk. In court, in an affidavit, the Trump attorney, the Trump administration attorney, Joshua Fisher, said in the court case, quote, Musk is not an employee of the U.S. Doge He is not an employee of the U.S. Doge Service or a temporary employee of Doge. In other words, he said that Musk did not work for Doge. And last night, Trump said he was in charge of Doge.
Well, and he also said that we were ending the time of the unelected bureaucrat. Ironically, what is Elon, an unelected bureaucrat? Russell Voigt, of course, has also said similar things about Vought. I'm sorry. I got
Homelander.
I got Homelander in my head, and that's all I see when I see his name and his face. Christian Nationalist, head of the Office of Management and Budget, of course, central to the 2025 project, which we've talked about him and all of his people numerous times on this podcast. He, of course, said that we want the bureaucrats to be traumatically affected. So public servants, when you wake up in the morning, we want them to not go to work because they are increasingly viewed as the villains. We want their funding to be shut down. We want to put them in trauma. I know I've said this before, but this is a man who's think tank. These are think tank people who have sat around and decided our future in their little round tables for, probably for a decade or more. I really feel like they felt empowered come COVID. Like around COVID time, I think the world, people in the background, the shadowy figures behind the curtain, sat around in their think tanks, came up with all of this. How do we control the masses? What are we going to do? The plans are out there. The polarization is
Project 2025, which Donald Trump said
is not.
He didn't know anything about.
Yeah.
Well, we know now that's just not true because Vought, who also worked for Trump in the first administration, first term, is one of the main architects of Project 2025. And what is being implemented is, in fact, what Project 2025.
With elements of other little projects thrown in.
Yes.
Yeah, we've got the Christian Act. We got a little babbling.
The big thing is they don't want any public employees.
Yes.
They want everything to be privatized. Everything.
And it's all going to be digital. We're going to have technology do the bulk of everything. And that'll benefit Elon and the PayPal.
The tech bros.
The tech bros, yeah.
Peter Thiel. And if you don't know who Peter Thiel is, just look him up. He's part of this.
And I think that's the problem is our audience gets their algorithm feeds that come into their social media platforms, and you get fed your little bubble bias, and you feel good about that because you're right. But really, we need to take a step back and stop dwelling on all these little tiny things. What suit did he wear? Did he not wear a suit? Who disrespected who? And start to focus on the big picture, which is really what's going on. And Americans, I think the world sees it. They're back. They're standing back watching. I think today we're probably going to get some kind of reprieve in the tariffs. They're going to calm down with Mexico and Canada. I feel like they set that
But
up.
again, another place where people don't understand how they work.
Oh,
just
tariffs?
like last night. He said numerous times that other countries will be paying these tariffs. No, they won't.
No, we will.
Tariffs are attached to goods coming in by the country that receives the goods.
Oh, come on. Most Americans understand that.
They don't.
Donald told us last night that we're going to hurt for a bit. He said that. He said we're going to hurt.
Well, first of all, has he got a mouse in his pocket? Because he's not going to hurt at all, and neither are any of his friends.
None of those people in that room last night were going to hurt. Maybe,
the average person.
Maybe, yeah.
And the price of everything going up doesn't help anyone, especially now.
Well, no. And in this area, if our farmers, so if the tariffs on farm goods are.
Well, China's doing it. It's done.
Place. Well, I think China's a whole different animal.
And he didn't mention that last night.
No, he didn't. But I think Canada and Mexico, we're going to come to some sort of agreement with. China's a whole different dragon.
Yeah. But he said last night, we love our farmers. Yeah, you love them so much that the last time you implemented tariffs on China and they stopped buying our soybeans,
you had to subsidize
and our rice,
farmers.
You had to give farmers money because you wrecked their trade deals. So
really, he's just redirecting all of this savings.
And here in Louisiana, this is a big deal.
Well, yeah, it's not going to just affect our farmers. It's a trickle down. Our dock workers. What's going to happen to the Lake Charles port? That they're going to lose so much business, and all they've been doing.
And everybody's like, well, we can do it ourselves. America, buy American. Yeah, good luck. Do you know the number of grapes that you would have to grow in America over what we grow now just to satisfy the American diet? much of the produce we get from Mexico, we get for a reason.
Well, our agricultural guy said we just need to all get chickens. And we live in an area where most people have chickens.
Yeah.
So, but city folk.
And when it comes to products themselves, again, I just want to alert everyone to this simple phrase, comparative advantage.
Yes.
There is a reason that we buy goods from other countries, primarily to benefit ourselves. We cannot afford to make TVs in America because the wage we would have to pay would make the TVs prohibitively expensive, and therefore people wouldn't be able to purchase them, which actually shrinks the economy, doesn't grow the economy. Mm-hmm. Comparative advantage says that you move your labor where it is cheapest.
Okay, but another win besides the win of the border, which he referenced numerous times last night.
Oh yeah.
And he's helping with that too by giving the gold card. To wealthy individuals who are going to come into our country and bring money.
Why would they?
I guess to make money. They're going to benefit here. They won't have to pay those tariffs. They're going to come here. They're going to open plants, and they're going to produce jobs.
Sure.
That's the thinking of that. We're going to have a new Apple plant. They're going to spend $5 billion.
Which was announced previously, and now they've been re-announced.
Yeah, so they're just announcing it again so that we all think it's him, not anybody else. Also, the chips. We're going to make the chips here.
Even though he canceled the CHIPS Act. Which was going to give subsidies to companies to build plants here in America. This was signed under Biden, but because it was signed under Biden, he canceled it.
Oh, so now he'll have to do a new one.
Exactly.
And then it'll look like
it'll be just like his trade deal with Mexico and Canada that he himself said was the greatest deal ever in 2020, and now says it's the worst deal ever, which is why he has to punish our two friends and neighbors, Mexico and Canada. Yeah. Or you can take the other argument, which is, I'm just trying to stop fentanyl.
Yeah.
Which is nonsense. Very little fentanyl comes across the Canadian border for sure.
And you're creating a need for it in this country. People are doing more drugs than ever. Less alcohol consumption and more drug intake. That's what's happening in America. Just read about it. And that is the point. Go read about everything.
Do some research.
There are more than two sides. And just when you find one thing that it'll contradict another thing, and
the Social Security thing that just was everywhere.
He spouted that last night like he was reading the damn meme.
And it's not true. None of it's true. That's all a lie.
He spent 5 minutes going through the list. 200-year-old,
but on Facebook right now, there's this thing going around about taxing Social Security. It's this long diatribe, and all you have to do is go to the Social Security site and look at the history.
Yeah.
It tells you exactly everything that's ever happened with Social Security, who signed what, who did what. The Democrats. It was Reagan, not a Democrat. Yeah. It was a Republican Congress, not a Democratic Congress. See, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Everybody's going Democrat this or Republican that. Again, I cannot stress this enough. It is the belief and policy of the Long in the Boot podcast that there is, in fact, not two parties. There is simply one all-encompassing party of power.
Of power, yes.
That's it.
And they're the shadowy figures in the background. Polarization of politics. And we have two main parties. In the 90s, these two parties had more similar policy agendas than they do today, and there was more diversity of opinion within those parties. But over the last 30 years, the Democrats have moved more to the left, the Republicans have moved more to the right, and I think that's by design. I think that they want that kind of drama. I mean, it's a WWE show. Anybody that watches soap operas or pro wrestling knows that it's all about the script.
It's all about the script, and it's all about the heel.
If John Cena can become the bad guy, if Hulk Hogan can become the heel, then anybody can change on a dime.
That's right.
Anybody. So
anybody.
And when you think of the liberals or the woke people, and again, stop using that as an insult. It's an insult to say you actually care that we have an increase in minimum wage, that we think that we should have more health care for citizens, that we should feed our children. The LGBTQ thing, they went too far.
As always.
You know what? I don't care I won't say that. I don't care who you sleep with.
Well, I don't either, as long as it's not me.
And it's not a child. That's common sense kind of stuff.
It is the policy of the Long in the Boot podcast that adults should not bang children. Okay, that's just I know it's out there, but we're going to stand on that.
Stand on that.
I will plant my flag on that hill.
We've already said common sense. Damn. And then you've got the right? The conservative, lower taxes on the wealthy. Because we're going to create that trickle-down theory.
Which hasn't ever worked since Reagan.
We're still going with Reagan on that one. Limited government regulation of the economy. Just let it all go.
What I think, I guess for me.
Immigration restrictions, social policies, limited access to abortion. You don't need to get vaccines. We're not going to push that shit on you. But don't you dare have your rights to your own body.
No.
Stop with the moral shit.
Well, it's cultural.
Yeah. Well, and that's the whole point about the LGBTQ. Stop trying to legislate that kind of stuff. The Democrats pushing all of that, that's a moral agenda. Stop it. There aren't so many people.
Well, that's what makes this fun, because you've got the Republicans bitching about all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Stop it. Meanwhile, on the right, Republicans want to put, 10 Commandments in every classroom. They want to control everything about access to abortions or whatever.
Who you can marry.
They want women to be prosecuted for murder for an abortion.
Yes.
They want to basically have a government built on God's law. Well, that's the same thing in the other direction.
Yes. It's too
extreme. It's too extreme. And again, I still go back to it. Even though last night you would have thought that he was in charge, we are in charge. The people are supposed to be in charge. They work for us.
Vance looks so menacing back there, staring off into space like he's planning his
JV dunce.
That looked.
Speaking of which,
he's scary to me.
Yeah, Hillbilly Elegy. I've seen now like 3 people going, "It's the most amazing book." It's not amazing. He grew up out of poverty and did well. Okay. Like that's never been done before.
That's the American dream.
Here's the thing though about people like that. They come from poverty, and either one of two things happens. Because of the poverty they come out of and then they succeed, they realize that it can happen, and they want to give back, and they want to bring other people up like that.
Sports figures do that quite often.
They turn into raging buttholes who hate the very people they came from.
Yeah.
That's Vance.
I think so.
He despises. He's the proverbial self-hating Jew. He converted to Catholicism. What?
I don't care.
No, but why?
I don't know.
What's the point?
Was it his wife? I have no idea.
What, from India?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, see, he's all about equality.
And when they were trashing people from India not too long ago, did he defend her at all? No. Yeah, that's weird.
Okay. Well, this deep divide between political parties, because it creates a hatred of your fellow human beings. Once you discuss politics, in 2022, 62% of Republicans and 54% of Democrats had a very unfavorable view of the other party. And that was up in just 5 years. So I don't know what it is today, but I can imagine it is much higher today.
Probably so.
So, that in-group bias, the psychological factors that play a role in reinforcing this partisanship, people's opinions are group driven, and that should not be. You should make your own decisions. I can have different views from Republicans and from Democrats on different issues. Make some damn decisions.
Oh, you were talking about the gold card a while ago?
Oh, yes.
He said the gold card will allow very high-level people to apply to become lawful permanent residents.
Yes.
And high-level people.
High-level people. We're going to have good people, not murderers, not cartel people.
And he did say that at one point last night, that nearly all of the people who came across the border were criminals.
Yeah. Well, anytime you use that kind of language, everybody, you're running into trouble. The media doesn't help all of this, and we know who controls all of that because we get partisan news. And I'm guilty of it. I'm not going to see your side if you think that Donald Trump and Elon Musk are all right. If they're your people, then you probably should stop listening, and you hate us already.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
That's not okay for me.
And by the way, if the other way around, and you think that Trump and Vance are like Satan incarnate, well, I'm not going to go there either.
I'm not there either. No.
I think Trump is being exactly who he's been for Well, 50 years.
Yeah.
I don't think he's any change. I don't think he's changed.
Focus on the issues, not the parties. Focus on the issues. This is not about picking a guy and following him.
Yeah. And because little simple things like the lies that are so obvious, like we produced more oil under Biden in 2023, 12.9 million barrels a day. That was the record. Yet, if you had listened last night, you would have thought we'd almost shut off oil production in this country. It's just not true.
Well, he told you what he's started the new agency, Drill Baby.
Yeah,
Drill.
the Drill
They
Baby
love their
Drill.
little phrases. They love those little phrases.
Drill Baby
Because
Drill.
that's what they think of us as Americans. We need those little jingles. We need those little, quick little bites to show you who we are. This is how you side with them.
Oh, yeah.
I'm on your side. Look, I have an American flag shirt, and I'm afraid to wear it.
Are you?
Yeah, I don't want to get lumped in.
I've got this Muck Fusk shirt, but I'm kind of afraid to wear it to school.
78% of Americans are in favor of encouraging highly skilled immigrants to come to the U.S.
No way.
And that was like in 2019. We agreed on that. I think we still agree on that. 60% of voters would like to have money from the government to help weatherize their homes to make them more efficient.
Now, I am, that's a good deal. I am upset about the fact that Trump won't let me indoctrinate children anymore at school.
Oh, at school. You had to get rid of the...
Well, yeah, apparently I'm not even going to be able to do the whole, goose stepping and the armbands. That's not going to be allowed.
Can I not show them how to measure a nose to tell if it's a Jew?
Well, you can use calipers to measure the head size, apparently.
Oh, okay.
And they're going to bring back phrenology, so the bumps on the head will tell you whether they might actually have Jewish blood.
I thought we were getting away from science. We were moving in the other direction. We're moving in a direction in many areas that I am scared of.
I would like to be able to teach real civics. And I've looked at what they're testing on, and it's still a problem.
Because that is cited as one of the problems here is that we haven't been teaching civics or economics. And therefore the citizens who are now parents don't actually understand how it's supposed to work. Many people don't even know that there are 3 branches of government, and they're supposed to share the balance of power.
Yeah, and they're trying to basically reduce it to one. Which is Project 2025, by the way, which is to create what's known as a Unitarian style government.
And then the Christian nationals are back there trying to push their agenda. So
Correct.
You have several parties going on here in the background trying to all push an agenda.
Correct.
So that's what we really need to focus on, the bigger picture. We need to stop.
But the supports of the Republic are being gradually whittled away in this process, which is the part that scares me to death. I don't blame Trump for this either.
No.
I think this is a group of people that have been actively at this for several administrations.
Yes, I think so too.
And their whole goal is to create this, polarization and to create the Unitarian style of government where most of the power is vested in the executive. Because Trump's not getting rid of the bureaucracy. This whole thing about cleaning out the swamp. No, he's just replacing the swamp with his own people. The loyalty tests.
The Doge people are getting 6 figures a year.
Yes.
So that's just bureaucracy.
There's 2 or 3 of the Doge guys who are making more money than a congressman.
And what about the conflict of interest within these? The number of subsidies, the amount of money that Tesla and
oil companies, fossil fuel companies, and we need to save money. We gave, again, in 1 year, we gave $700 billion in subsidies.
But I don't hear
the fossil fuel industry.
Nothing about Doge saying anything
they
about
made
subsidies.
$2.7 trillion in profits. That means that if we cut off all subsidies to fossil fuel companies, their profits would still be $2 trillion a year.
Why didn't we start with subsidies before we start with low-level employees?
Exactly.
Any economist would know that you start at the high end. That's where you're going to save the most money. We don't need to subsidize the profit.
And even if you're getting rid of employees, you don't start at the bottom.
No, you start with the higher wage earners.
Usually you start with middle management.
Well, they earn
administrators.
More money
What do we say about school education all the time? What's the problem with education? There's too many administrators.
And there's
too many middle administrators. You got the people you deal with, you got their bosses, but why is there 3 or 4 layers in between?
Yeah.
Why are so many jobs redundant?
Why do I have so many books in the closet that have never been used or opened ever?
And yet we spent the money.
And yet, they were.
That's the waste.
We're not allowed to talk.
But we can't have textbooks, actual real textbooks.
Well, we're not allowed to use it.
And if I got a civics textbook today,
What would it say?
it would probably be full of lies because that's not what's happening right now.
Yeah. Well, can you tell the truth, though?
I do.
Yeah. I know you do, baby. That's why you're here, G.
Yeah. Well,
That's why we have no sponsors. So we can
it's not like I'm looking for sponsors.
and we
either.
can tell our truth.
That's right.
And again, this is all what we see.
Yeah.
So,
And if you think I'm wrong, that's cool.
yeah, don't listen.
Send an email.
Send an email. Gripe at him. Say, hey, G.
Yeah. Or
you know
say
what?
something hurtful on Facebook so I can block you.
Bella's not barking.
Well, because we're talking truth.
Okay.
Truth to power, man. Truth to power.
That's it. So I do see that there could be hope. I absolutely
don't.
know. Well, I know that the system is going to be different.
Oh, speaking of which, that speech at the beginning of the show, that was Charlie Chaplin.
Oh, yeah.
He said that a long time ago
And
in a movie called The Great Dictator.
when all we had were airplanes and radio.
Yeah. When he wrote those words, Nazi Germany wasn't at war with Great Britain yet.
Yeah.
And by the time the movie came out, guess what? They were bombing London.
He was a prophet.
And, this cozying up to Putin.
See, bigger picture.
Bigger
we need
picture.
to step back and look at what the hell is happening.
He's a murderer. He's killed plane loads of people.
He's a KGB.
He poisoned people.
We're not even bringing up the conspiracy that Trump in the 80s
was vetted by Russia.
Yeah. Now, if you want to get deep into that, go do that research.
Oh, man, that's a wild thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to get bogged down in all of it, but man, it's out there.
There's some interesting coincidences.
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. So would he sell out the country? You know what? He's 78. Vance is going to be in charge. I
people who say you can't eat McDonald's and have healthy. I mean, Trump eats McDonald's like every freaking day, and he's still kicking
he loves
away.
His sodas.
He doesn't sleep.
Well, but has that man ever wanted for medical care?
No.
Has he ever worried about not going to the doctor?
No, but he's never really ever been sick.
Well, he's got.
No, they said his health has been impeccable for years. Even he's overweight, McDonald's eating, Coke drinking, but he's never touched illegal drugs, cigarettes, or alcohol.
Ah, okay. Well, now they're pushing those little. He's dragging his leg. I watched the videos.
He's old.
He's old.
I drag my leg.
I'm 60. I get up. I drag my leg. It hurts. My hip hurts.
Yeah.
So I'm not.
In fact, as old as I am, occasionally I have to, well, never mind. But you know what?
I have to pause when I stand up before I walk now.
Well, I was going to say I don't want to step on my own balls, but they haven't descended quite that far.
And I exercise. You've got the biggest balls in the world. The biggest balls of anybody of any time. All time.
AC/DC has the biggest balls of all.
I thought the little Doge boy had the biggest balls.
That's his name.
Well, he's advertising. He's branded himself.
Big balls. We've got big balls.
The other aspect of the whole, he's dragging his leg. Look at this video. Well, I watched 2 videos and I didn't really notice it all that much. And then, look, he's got a bruise on his hand. And then they made some reference to the Queen a week before she died had a bruise on her hand.
Yeah, you get it.
What?
I get one when I go to the doctor too.
When Putin started the war, they started trying to tell us, look at him.
Die.
He's swollen. He's sick. There's health scare. It's going to die. And then nothing.
Yeah. And the bruise on the back of Trump's hand, maybe he got a IV for some reason. Maybe he got some saline. Maybe he was dehydrated.
Maybe he played taco goat cheese.
And got his hand smacked?
And got his hand smacked.
That's a possibility.
Hit it on the table.
Actually, that's probably more like it because he talks with his hands. He probably did. He probably just smacked the back of his hand on something.
Yeah, probably so.
And then fired somebody for it.
You hurt me.
Who put this microphone here? You're fired.
All right. I just want our audience to kind of settle down, step back from all. If you're bickering every day with somebody or you're fighting on the internet, I've been guilty of it too. Although I feel better when I take away a few people who have never commented, never liked a garden picture, never liked a picture of me and my grandkids, all the years they've been friends on Facebook, and never said a word, and then all of a sudden start challenging me. You supported Fauci. What the hell?
Yeah.
You're trying to tell me something I did 4 years ago? I did not.
When I was trashing Biden and Obama, you guys were all for it.
I know.
And then all of a sudden now it's like you come to the defense
and you want to
Musk.
attack me.
And
I'm putting my opinion out there. Don't
not only
tell
that,
me to provide facts to you. Go find your own.
If you start a comment to me, prove me wrong. All I'm going to do is block you.
Yeah. And I can't believe I've come to say that. I really can't, because I really am. I want to hear all sides. I do.
The people I graduated with that I had on my friends list that I've blocked, I wasn't really friends with them anyway. Well, even when I was in school, I wasn't friends with them. In fact, my circle of friends was actually pretty small when I was in high school. But I've learned to really like a lot of people that I didn't get to talk to in high school. Yeah. But the people that...
But over time, you've watched them and you've liked their kids and their grandkids and their happies and their sads. But if
somebody else posts something that I disagree with, I'm not going to be personal. I'm not going to attack them personally. I'm certainly not going to start my comment with, prove me wrong.
Yeah, well.
No, I wouldn't do that. Okay. Come on, stop it.
All right.
Just quit it.
Polarization, step back, recognize what's going on and that they're playing us all.
Oh, yeah. Realize that we have no power whatsoever.
And that we really don't have, you know what you have power over?
Me.
You can make your damn bed so that at night when you come home, if you survive your day in the jungle of the world out there, you got a nice fresh bed to get into. There's your control. You got your people closest to you. Kiss them because...
There's a dog in it, though.
Yeah, there's always a dog in it. You know what? I read the other day that's healthy for us.
What's that, sleeping with a dog?
Yeah, lower blood pressure, just...
Well, it certainly keeps my feet warm.
Yeah, she does.
I had to scooch her down there by my feet.
Now, sometimes with the waking up in the middle of the night and she decides it's time to get up and play.
Yeah.
And wants to make you rub
Hey, but when you need to sleep for 15 hours...
She's there.
She's right there with you, helping you out.
That's
sleeping.
How she was with me, too. Please let me up there. Please let me up there. I need to sleep with you.
Yes.
Yeah, she was
and she stayed for 15 hours.
She did.
She didn't ask to go to the bathroom, nothing. She just laid right there.
She knew it was bad.
Oh, yeah.
This was a bad go-round. Getting sick after 60 is no joke.
No, it's definitely
That
true.
Scares me because I've been sick quite a bit this
And now
winter.
I don't know what I had because at first it was, gastroenteritis. No.
So
maybe it's flu or COVID.
Flu or COVID, one of the two.
We got those COVID tests. We never use them.
Can we wrap it up with a little tribalism?
Sure. Let's wrap it up. I'm exhausted.
I'm tired. This was a lot.
And we stayed up late last night because that speech was...
I kept trying to wait.
I wanted to hear the rebuttal, lady, and he just kept talking. He repeated the same things over and over.
Yeah.
And over.
And all the people standing up and sitting down.
Yeah.
Oh, the show was, like he said with the Zelensky thing, makes for good TV.
Now, I was terrified every time they picked up that poor little kid, the cancer kid.
Oh, yeah.
I was worried.
Every time his dad lifted him.
Yeah, I was like, oh, God, don't drop him. Don't drop him.
All right. So, Mar-a-Lago face.
Mar-a-Lago face.
Yes. I'm going to go there because, well, it's part of the
everywhere.
Trend. Well, we've talked about the trends in beauty and fashion and eyebrows,
sure,
and lips, and it's a common topic. That
pointy bras, round bras.
Yes, there's styles. We go through trends. Well, Trump is such a polarizing person that in his first term, he was living in New York when all that came down. He had his place in let's see, where is it? He got Mar-a-Lago in 1985.
Correct.
Right. That's when he moved down there. He left New York, according to the professor here. Donald left New York because there he was seen as a tacky millionaire, but in Florida, his aesthetic made much more sense.
Yeah, cocaine rich.
Well,
that's what it looks like.
The tan. Well, I know.
Lots of gold.
All I thought was, housewives of wherever.
Bob Guccione.
New Jersey, yeah, all that. So when he moved his residence to Trump Tower, from Trump Tower to Mar-a-Lago, he abandoned the state because at that time they were a fixed Democratic majority. So there were political reasons for him leaving too. He just didn't feel as welcome there. So today, now, and you can go see these people, and it's not just women. That's what I found was really interesting. This Mar-a-Lago face that we've undergone is exaggerated Botox, visible facial fillers, and extreme tanning is part of because now they're not trying to hide the fact that they're getting it done. Used to be like Hollywood people, and even Hollywood people now, their trend has gone more towards the natural. Taylor Swift, I've seen a lot of women in Hollywood recently just not out with no makeup on, and that if they have work done, they want it to look natural. But now we've got the likes of Laura Loomer, Laura Trump, Kimberly what's her last name?
Guilfoyle.
Guilfoyle. She's the ambassador for Greece. Laura Loomer, Governor.
The country, not oil.
Yeah. Kristi Noem, all featured in this lineup. And if you look at their faces and what's happened over time since his first go round to now, they have this they've morphed. They've become, and you know what? When I look at them now in this
caricatures.
Well, and Melania last night.
But her lips are absolutely thin. She never got her lips done.
But her face looked it
looks chiseled.
It looked unnatural, and that's part of it. And the men are doing it too. It's this angular cheekbone, makeup, that's the eyebrows, everything looks exaggerated. Getz was one of the first men to do it. Now, of course, he did not get his appointment, so, but he had that elfin arch to his eyebrows. George Santos, he had this horrible Botox habit. And really, she says this is a lot about this tribalism, that it shows them as part of this group. If they have a face they don't like, they change it, and they don't care if it looks natural or not, because reality doesn't matter in Trumpism. Traditionally, the right has a more, they're more flagrant, I guess, is kind of the idea. And
but you can see it with a lot of those women.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
Kristi Noem right there. She just,
she's
some of them just
one.
look freakish.
Dog
to me.
killer, Kristi Noem.
The need to belong. Amanda Till, a Palm Beach-based tech entrepreneur, said to New York Post that she spent between $50,000 and $60,000 on Botox, facial fillers, thread lifts, and I guess I think that's eyebrows. I don't know.
I think so.
Different laser treatments and hydrofacial rejuvenation treatment offered by this Dr. Norman Rowe, a plastic surgeon who is now opened a clinic in Florida, close to Mar-a-Lago, because he's doing the Trump, the Trump people. A lot of us who support the president want to look our best. She says that she is increasingly a regular visitor to Mar-a-Lago now that she has the look. It makes you feel like you're a part of something.
A cult.
Everyone here is someone, and it's here too, where everyone has to have a certain aesthetic that sets them apart from the rest of the world. Eugenics? Trump eugenics?
No, eugenics is trying to make something better. This is not better.
Well, no, I know, but the aimed at making the human species better. Trump has accused migrants of poisoning the blood of his country. What if Mar-a-Lago?
You know who else accused people of poisoning the blood of his country?
Yeah. So it really is this kind of surgical beauty is causing this aesthetic. And
I bet you did
really,
not see that coming.
She thinks it's kind of amusing because his base are really not the rich.
No.
He says the paradox lies in the fact that although mass access to cosmetic and cosmetic surgery would allow for a homogeneous look leading to, one type, social class still persists. They are the ones who write the social grammar. Therefore, they appear in the script as the best, the legitimate, the chosen. And they have this certain lifestyle. I don't find it strange that a Mar-a-Lago face is presented as royalty. They're all part of his court. That is to say, Trump and his kind need to brand themselves, flaunting their class, and that is provided by surgery. And the fact that you can see that they've had the surgery is the point, right?
Yeah.
So I found it quite interesting. So just kind of pay attention to that and look at those women, and that is presented as the norm and the desired look today for that group. But if we go to that, who is this woman? Oh, that's Laura Loomer. Man, I don't know. I'm not seeing it, but I'm old, so I don't see that as beautiful. So really, it says Trump's circle is very clear. Barbie and Ken are their references.
Barbie and Ken.
Barbie and Ken. You got to look like that. And then we got poor Marco Rubio there on the peripheral. He's almost in, but they're taking bets on how long he's going to hang out. Like he clearly isn't on board with all of the things, but he's got the position right now, and well, he's just the last to know. If he was in Stalin's court, should he be worried? Rubio?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, don't go to sleep.
Well, don't go. Actually, Rubio's best bet would be to probably run.
just disappear.
But the problem is, if you run, where are you going to run?
Yeah. There are people.
But he's out of the loop. He's certainly not brought in. I don't really know why he accepted the position, because he has been anti-Russia and anti-Trump for so long. I mean,
and maybe it's not in
he's the one that made fun of Trump's hands being tiny.
Maybe it's not in his soul to flip that blatantly, because so many of them have.
I don't know.
I mean, they flipped. They've gone from saying horrible things about Trump before to now kissing the ring. So,
but all of this that's happening right now is not making the world safer.
Oh no,
that's my biggest complaint.
It's making it more unstable, because we're not the only players in the game.
We got China now saying, "Hey, we're ready for war." They have boosted their defense spending by 7%. And
I tried to end on a positive.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And then you're going to take it to nuclear war?
Well, no, I'm being positive. It's not nuclear war. It's just war.
Well, no, it's everybody nuking up because they know they need to.
Everybody's going to.
If we're not going to support anybody in Europe, if we're not going to be there for Taiwan, and we're not.
Yeah.
Nobody's really saying anything about that, but Taiwan is like, we're getting a weapon. And they should.
But anyway, so I don't know.
Yeah.
We're at a crossroads for sure.
We are. It's going to change.
Yeah, there's talk that we're going to pull out of NATO.
Yeah, and the UN. Musk says we should do both. So if
Musk says it, that's it. He's the smartest man on the planet. Just ask him; he'll tell you.
Yeah.
And by then, he probably will have what, 15, 16 kids. For such a smart guy, he's really incapable of putting on a condom. Apparently,
well, he doesn't want to. This is by design. He wants all of these little Musk babies out there, but he doesn't want to pay for them.
I will tell women, look, if you're going to have sex with Musk, don't live in Texas. Texas actually has a cap on child support.
Oh, is that why she only got $3,000?
That is the reason.
Oh.
But other states don't have a cap. So it's important
to be a resident of another state.
Be a resident of another state if you're going to let Musk
impregnate you. Ugh. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. He can't even grow a beard.
Think about this. At any time right now, there could be Musk babies growing everywhere. Yes. We don't even know.
And he could be an alien.
His oldest child is like, look, I find out on the internet, I find out on Reddit when I have another sibling out there, half sibling.
Hey, you got another half kid, half sibling.
She's like, she doesn't talk to him.
No.
He doesn't talk to her because that's not the purpose.
Right.
He just wants the DNA out there.
Yeah, it's because it's such vital.
It's part of it. See?
Vital DNA.
And he's already, I don't know. I'm going to stop because it's just so bizarre. We're living in bizarro world. All right. And take a step back, folks.
Muck fusk. That's what I say. Muck fusk.
Take a step back. It is going to change. And every time we make those big changes, it does get messy. And then I clean it up and then it looks beautiful. I don't know that that's going to happen in this I don't know, or is it a craft? It's a project. I don't know if it's...
I don't know what's going on.
It's a project.
Yeah, Project 2021.
And our joy is portable, so we may have to leave with it.
Yeah, and hopefully in 2 weeks...
we'll be back. Normal, healthy.
Healthy would be good. I would like that.
I got to get this weight off my soul, though. Like, maybe that's part of...
Well, actually, I think that's probably just phlegm in your chest.
You hear it. Yeah. It's kind of musky in there.
The sound of illness. There you go.
Okay. All right, people, try to have a day.
Yeah, have a good day.
We'll be back in 2 weeks. And
have a good day every now and then.
Lord knows what's going to happen in the next 2 weeks. Hey, South Park's coming back, though.
That's right. And that's all I need.
They're going to be our Charlie Chaplin sages of this.
You give me South Park and I'm going to be a happy camper. And by the way,
and Jon
show
Stewart.
coming up on Apple.
Huh.
Murderbot.
Oh, yeah.
With Alexander Skarsgård. I think it's going to be a winner.
Our favorite.
Oh, God, love that guy. And the books are amazing. Read the books. The books are phenomenal. Murderbot. Get it.
We love
Read
our
it.
crime.
Love it. Live it. We'll see you in 2, people. I got to hurry up and get this thing out.
Bye.
Ta-ta.